Hello everybody, welcome back to the Chunky Studios. This is Jordan. So before we start this video, I'd like to announce why I'm doing so severe river coverage later today. So first of all, I want to talk about the severe river potential, as we do have a potential for a few tornadoes, large hail and scare damaging wrinkles over the next couple of days, and we also have some tropical activity that could form in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Western Pacific Ocean, and we will continue to talk about Hurricane Gabrielle and Super Typhoon Ragasa and the impacts that could bring. So anyways, let's get straight into today's weather forecast. So first of all, let's start with the severe weather outlooks for today. You can see for today we have a large slight risk of severe weather across western into central Oklahoma, then to the northeastern Texas Panhandle into northwest or southwestern Kansas, and then never across northwestern Missouri, southwestern Iowa, and eastern Nebraska, and then we have a marginal risk across much of the Ohio Valley. Our tornado risk for today is relatively low, though we could still see a couple isolated tornadoes across northern Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas, as well as eastern Nebraska into west central Iowa. For our wind threat, we have a 15% wind threat in both of our slight risk areas. We have a 5% wind threat extending from southern Wisconsin through Kansas all the way into northern Texas and never across much of the Ohio Valley. Then our hail risk for today mainly across northwestern Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas, and then eastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, and northwestern Missouri for your hail risk for today. Now we're looking at tomorrow's outlook. We have a large slight risk of severe weather across much of Arkansas into eastern Oklahoma, into a sliver of northeastern Texas. We actually do have a small 5% tornado risk for tomorrow across northwestern Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. That could be the area where I could see a few tornadoes tomorrow, and then that is surrounded by a larger 2% tornado risk from southwestern Missouri through much of Arkansas all the way into northeastern Texas. Our wind threat for tomorrow is probably going to be the greatest threat. We have a 15% wind threat across that whole slight risk area, and our 5% wind threat extends from west central Texas all the way into southern Kentucky and central Tennessee. And then our hail risk for tomorrow, we have a small 15% hail risk across eastern Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas. Not too big of a concern for tomorrow. Look at our excessive rainfall outlooks. We have a small slight risk of excessive rainfall across southwestern Kansas into northeastern Oklahoma, where you can see some scattered flash flooding tomorrow. If you're a marginal risk, not really any concern, just some isolated flash flooding in low-lying areas. Tomorrow we do have a larger slight risk of flash flooding across much of the southern Great Plains into the southern Midwest there, where you can see some scattered flash flooding tomorrow and some isolated significant flash flooding in some areas. And we also have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall across the southwestern California coast. For the day 3 excessive rainfall outlook, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall across much of the Ohio Valley. And we have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall across southeastern Arizona and much of New Mexico, but never across mainly central California there. Now looking at our tropical activity, we have this one area to watch, 10% chance of formation for 8 hours, 60% chance of formation in 7 days. This will likely move into a better environment over the next couple of days, and it could gradually develop into a system, probably in the tropical storm to hurricane range at the most. And then we have this other system which has a decently long time to develop, but it's going to be relatively slow. But even if it doesn't develop, this will still bring heavy rainfall to quite a large area here. But they just marked it anyways. So here is Hurricane Gabrielle is expected to briefly become a low Category 3 hurricane early on Tuesday before it curves to the east, and eventually it will stay a hurricane all the way to very west and even a little bit to the east of it, and it will bring some tropical storm force winds to those islands. And we might see pretty far east tropical storm warnings for that. And then here's tropical storm Narda. Just want to look at the forecast advisory to make sure nothing has changed. Alright, it's now going to peak at 105 miles an hour in this forecast. Basically the same, just a little stronger. And you can see nothing great of concern for land. Looking at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, this is an area of interest here, 92W. Likely won't form, but we'll just watch it just in case. Here's Ragasa, right now at 140 knots, expected to gradually weaken before it makes its second landfall in southwestern China, because it made a brief landfall on this little island over here, I'm pretty sure. Eventually will make landfall in Vietnam as a somewhat high-end tropical storm before moving inland and dissipating over Laos. And then we also have Neogari. Nothing really of concern, just gonna gradually weaken over the next several days. Looking at the satellite view, I'm mainly going to look at Gabrielle, Narda, I think it is, and Ragasa. So here's Gabrielle. You can see decently organized system. This kind of reminds me of Dawn in 2023, just on the satellite look. But obviously it's not in a similar location. Dawn was much farther north. Here's Narda. You can see now the best organized system. But we're starting to get a lot more convection here. This is a sign that it is likely strengthening at least somewhat gradually. And now here's Ragasa. And if you look closer, you can actually see the landfall there. And it has been bringing heavy rainfall to Luzon and some parts of the Philippines, even to the south of that, for hours and hours now. So, there's probably already been quite a bit of rain, and there's still more to come. As I said, this is probably going to be a catastrophic storm for a lot of areas. It's also bringing heavy rainfall to southern Taiwan right now. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends and family for future updates and live streams, so that YouTube will push this out to more people. And don't forget to leave a comment down below what you think about all of this weather stuff. Goodbye.